That's truly summer in a mouthful. So much flavour, so much depth from the vinegar and the sugar, and the fact that you spent a long time cooking that down, that deserves to be called the ultimate ratatouille. Ratatouille has had a bit of an image problem over the years. At one extreme, you have a very neat, carefully arranged fine dining version where every vegetable is sliced and layered with precision. At the other, you have a slightly sad vegetable stew, soft courgettes, watery aubergines, a thin tomato sauce. This is neither of those things. This is ratatouille brought back to its rustic beginnings, a proper celebration of summer vegetables. Deeply flavoured, rich with olive oil, slow cooked until the sauce becomes thick, sticky and almost jammy. And the difference between the average ratatouille and a really good ratatouille comes down to a handful of choices. Keep on watching and I'll show you how to make the best ratatouille. Let's get started. So I've quartered my peppers, I've removed the seeds and I've laid the pepper pieces skin side up on a baking tray. Now I'm going to put them under a hot grill, and when I say hot, I mean hot. We're not looking for a little bit of colour. You want those skins to be blackened and blistered. They should look almost burnt. Do not worry, that is exactly what we want. Once the skins are properly charred, we're going to tip the peppers into a bowl and cover them. Leave them there for about 15 minutes until they're cool. Once the peppers are cool enough to handle, we're going to peel away the blackened skin. It should just lift off easily. Let's have a look. You see that? Look, it should just easily come away. And what you're left with is a much more digestible, beautiful, soft-skinned pepper with lots more flavour. Now, if you wanted to skip this step, you could use roasted peppers from a jar. Some of them are kept in vinegar, so they have a bit more acidity, and I wouldn't use those. I'd just use normal roasted peppers. But to be honest, they're very easy to do yourself. Now, that juice that you're left with in the bowl, do not throw it away. It's sweet, smoky, sticky, almost like a pepper stock. Now we're going to thinly slice the peppers and put them back into the stock, and we're going to keep them back for later. So I'm going to prep my veg. You know what, when it comes to things like this, I quite like them a bit odd shaped. There is a chefy term which is called oblique, but basically it just means cutting them so not all the sides are even. And I just think it just adds a bit of interest to the finished stew. So for that, I'm just going to cut my aubergine into slices. And cut them into long strips as you would normally. And then rather than cutting them down like that into a nice dice, I tend to just do them odd shaped like this, and that way you get this lovely sort of mix match of different shaped aubergine. So making a ratatouille is quite similar to making a stir fry. You want to get all your veg prep done before you start cooking. There's a term for this, it's called being en place or being ready. So everything is prepared before you start cooking. No need to worry about tears with red onions because they're a much milder onion. But with this, I don't want to finely chop it. I want to keep it roughly the same size as the other vegetables. Right, so it's just as if you were finely chopping it, but only chopping it a few more times. And there we have onion that's still nicely, neatly chopped, just roughly chopped, not finely chopped. Now, whenever you're working with basil, remember the stalks have as much flavour as the leaves. The leaves are perfect for finishing, but the stalks are brilliant for infusing in sauces. So don't throw them away, tie them into a bundle and infuse them in your sauces. So I'm heating my oven to 160 degrees, which is about 140 fan, and I've got a large flame-proof casserole on the hob. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and bring it up to a good heat. There we go. Now we're going to add the roughly chopped courgettes and the aubergine. Give that a stir, coat that in the oil. Now this is not a step to rush. The courgettes and aubergines need to be really lovely and brown before you add the other vegetables. And what we want to do here is keep an eye on the oil. Aubergines are thirsty, they soak up the oil really quickly. Never let that pan become completely dry. If it needs another drizzle, give it another drizzle. This is not a moment to be cautious with olive oil. It brings richness, it helps the vegetables brown, and it's one of the things that makes the finished dish feel generous rather than austere. I love this dish. This dish to me screams summer. Now I know some of the vegetables you can get all year round, but really it is a summer dish to celebrate those summer vegetables when they're at their absolute finest. This is a French Provençal dish from Provence that celebrates summer vegetables. It's truly one of my favourite vegetarian dishes to cook in the summer. So once our aubergine and courgette is beautiful, golden and soft, we're going to scoop it out before we add our onion. So out that comes. You see that? All those sticky bits. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're cooking meat or vegetables, that is flavour. And then we're going to cook our onions on a low heat for about 15 minutes. We want these to caramelise and go beautifully soft. Now once our onions are beautifully caramelised, we're going to add 4 garlic cloves, but they've been sliced rather than crushed or finely chopped. Now this might seem like a small detail, but it changes the flavour of the dish. Very finely chopped garlic releases its flavour in a much more aggressive way. It can spread throughout the whole sauce and dominate. Sliced garlic is softer, rounder, you still know where it is and it doesn't take over. It's not a flavour bully. We're going to add our garlic and we're going to let it sizzle for a moment, then we're going to scatter in a pinch of sugar, leave that caramelised lightly in the oil, then we're going to pour in a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Now this little sweet and sour combination does something really important. You should not be able to taste the sugar, you should not be able to taste the vinegar, but together they will amplify the tomatoes and make the whole sauce feel brighter and more balanced. If a tomato sauce tastes flat, it might not be salt. It might need a bit of acidity and a bit of sweetness just to bring it alive, and that's where a pinch of sugar and a splash of vinegar come in. Remember all those sticky bits we talked about in the pan before, the vinegar's just going to pick those up before we add the vegetables. Now we're going to return the brown courgettes and aubergines to the pan. In they go, all those vegetables. Our peppers and our pepper strips and that smoky pepper juice. And we're going to pour in 2 400 grams of cherry tomatoes. Whoop. And there's a reason we're using tinned cherry tomatoes rather than standard chopped tinned tomatoes. Tinned cherry tomatoes tend to be naturally sweeter, have a more rounded flavour, and because they're packed whole, they keep their shape and texture as they cook down. Standard chopped tomatoes will still work, but they can sometimes give you a thinner, slightly flatter sauce. And why tinned rather than fresh? Fresh tomatoes can be wonderful at the height of summer, but they're not always equally ripe, sweet or juicy. Tinned tomatoes give you consistency. They've been picked when ripe, so you get reliable flavour and enough juice to create that sauce without having to add any extra liquid. You want the tomatoes to soften into those vegetables, reduce gradually and become rich and jammy. Not watery, not dry, just properly cooked. Now everything's simmering away beautifully. We're going to nestle that herb stalk deep into the sauce. We're going to cover the casserole and that's going to go into the oven. We're going to leave it there for 1 hour. After an hour, remove the lid. At this point, the vegetables will be soft and the flavours will already have started to come together, but the sauce will still be a little looser than you want it. So we're going to remove the lid, return the casserole to the oven uncovered for another 30 minutes. This final stage is where the magic really happens. Look at that. Everything's become darker, richer and more concentrated. What we're looking for is a ratatouille that's cooked down and almost jammy, not dry, not watery, sticky enough to cling to a spoon. So we're going to lift out the herb bundle, then we're going to leave the ratatouille to cool until it's just warm rather than piping hot. This is important because the final 2 ingredients are going to bring freshness back into the dish. Our ratatouille is cooled down until it's just warm, and I'm going to tear in most of those basil leaves. Then we're going to stir through another tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now this is the finishing touch I mentioned at the beginning. The olive oil you used earlier was there to cook the vegetables. This olive oil is doing a different job completely. Because it's stirred through at the end, it stays present. It gives the sauce a richer texture, a beautiful sheen and that fresh, fruity olive oil flavour. It brings everything back to life. Honestly, look at that. There it is, a proper rustic ratatouille. The peppers are smoky and silky. The courgettes and the aubergines have real depth because they were browned rather than steamed. The onion has melted into the sauce and the sliced garlic is present without overpowering everything else. The sugar and the vinegar have sharpened the tomatoes. The basil stalks and the thyme have infused the sauce slowly and are in the background. And the fresh basil and extra olive oil at the end have just lifted the whole thing. This is not a quick vegetable stew. This is not a delicate fine dining arrangement. It's the slow cooked sticky sauce school of ratatouille, deep in flavour, rich in olive oil and properly celebratory. And that is exactly what we're looking for in a good food test kitchen. Not complication for the sake of it, just a few carefully chosen techniques that make a familiar dish noticeably better. Give this ratatouille a try and let us know how you get on in the comments, and tell us which dish you'd like to see us tackle on The Ultimate. For more tested techniques and recipes that help you become a better cook, subscribe to the Good Food channel and we will see you on the next one.